Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Park Studio. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and as always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. Man, it has been a hot minute since I've done a show. You know, not counting, the one earlier today, saying that I'm back and I'm doing a show today. I'm off. I'm off a little bit. Hold on a second. Let me, I don't want to hit that. There we go. That's better. There we go. All right. So, hey, how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. It's been 7 months since my last show. 7 months. That's a long time. That's a long time. But I don't want y'all to think that just because I've been hiatus, that I've not been paying attention, because I have been. I've been keeping my, my ear to the ground. I've been, my fingers are on the pulse. I've been paying attention to what's been going on, and holy crap. I mean, the past several months, really, it's been just nonstop, all kinds of stuff going on. And it's crazy. It is insane how much stuff is going on. Dave, hello. Hello from Brownsburg, Illinois, Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Nice. How are you doing, sir? Very nice. So, yeah, okay. Now here's the thing. Yes, it's been quite a while since I've done the show. And there's a lot of stuff that's been going on the past several months. I really do hope that y'all have been paying attention and that y'all have listened. But there are some things that I do want to talk about today. Primarily, I'm just going to be talking about, Kamala Harris and, her presidential run so far and some of the things that's been going on with that. I also want to talk about the lawfare with President Trump and with the assassination attempt that happened a while back ago. just craziness. And then at the end, I do have something that I do want to talk about, a little bit of house cleaning stuff, just to let y'all know what is going on. Dave says, good to hear and see you. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. I tell you what, these past several months, it's just life happened. I wanted to be back live, several months ago, but just so much stuff going on, just wasn't able to do that. But that's okay though. I'm back. So, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I've been, just with so much going on in the news and everything else. I mean, it's just been, man, I've wanted to talk to y'all. I really have been. I mean, that's one of the things about doing the podcast, and I missed it. I have been missing doing this. I really have been. But, one of the things about it is it allows me to just kind of vent a little bit with the stuff that's going on, because I'm sorry, man, I'm a passionate person. I really am. I'm a passionate individual. I see what's going on and everything else. And it's just, to me, it is so frustrating because you have, politicians that basically speak out of both sides of their mouths, don't they? That's pretty much what they're doing. They're speaking out of both sides of their mouth. They're trying to tell you that, how their treatment of Trump has been going, that, this isn't lawfare. This is, everybody. We hold everybody accountable to the same law. We don't treat people different, but at the same time, it's like all we see are huge contrasts as to how they treat people. Let me give you an example. Okay. You have the lawfare going on with Trump, and all of those indictments and everything else. And I'm specifically talking about the, with the over-evaluation of Mar-a-Lago, or at least what they claim was the over-evaluation of Mar-a-Lago, what the judge said Mar-a-Lago was worth. And, with him getting, the loans and whatnot, let's just put it this way. Everybody does the same thing. Everybody does. Okay. I mean, that's business as usual. That's why there was no disgruntled parties involved in that criminal case. Nobody had a problem with him evaluating his property the way that he did. The bank going in and going, no, we don't think it's worth that much. We're going to lower that to this. And here's the loan that we'll give you based off of what we think, your ability to pay it back is. And he got the loan. He made the payments. He paid back the loan and the interest. Everybody was happy. The bank was happy. The bank was like, what the problem is? We still want to do business with Trump because, like a Lannister, he paid his debts. They had no problem with it whatsoever. And with them going after Trump the way that they did, with him operating as business as usual, a lot of people that operate business in the same way that Trump does, with real estate and doing loans and doing stuff, everybody was like, this is kind of scary. Because if this is what they're going to do, if this is how they're going to treat Trump, then they can do this to anybody, because what he did wasn't illegal, but they still chose to go after him anyway. And they came out and they, on a press conference and was like, don't worry about it. How, our treatment of Trump is not going to, that's not what we're going to do to anybody else. We're going after Trump entirely based off of politics. It's not based off of any illegality at all. All they did was admit that it was all political. I mean, that's exactly what happened. The entire lawfare that has been going on against Trump has all been politically motivated, and they've come out and acknowledged it. And that's the part to me that's just really, going into the handling of classified information. It's like, dude, the FBI admitted to and acknowledged that they tampered with evidence. Whenever they were going after Hillary Clinton, I put that in air quotes because they didn't go after Hillary Clinton. But what did they say? It's like, yeah, she's guilty. We found the evidence. She's guilty of sin. But we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She didn't mean to do what she did and the destruction of evidence and whatnot. And it's like, what would you have done if that was a Republican? Oh, we know what they would have done because that's what they did to Trump. In this aspect, it's not an apples and apples. It's not a tomato. It's not an apple and oranges kind of a thing. It's the same crime that was done, and you have two very different means by which they took care of it and handled it. With Hillary Clinton, they were just like, nah, we're not going to do anything. Even though not just crap. I forgot to turn off the air conditioner. I did, because that puppy sounds like I'm going to be taking off. I mean, you can't hear it as bad on the microphone, but I can hear it, through the cans. I can still hear it, but it doesn't come out as bad on the microphone. I will when I take a break. I'll get that thing turned off because that sucker's loud. It's annoying to me. But anyway, you have two very different means by which they handled the situation. Okay. Now with Hillary Clinton, the thing is, and I know, I understand why they didn't go after Hillary Clinton, because if they went after Hillary Clinton, okay, they would have had to have gone after the entirety of the Obama administration. That's what they would have had to have done, because every single person that sent and received classified information to Hillary@Clinton.com, every single one of them is guilty of mishandling classified information. That's a no-no. It's untracked. It's, it's not susceptible to the Freedom of Information Act. There's a lot about that, yeah, every single person who sent it or received classified information, they all broke the law. Every last one of them. Did anything happen? Nope. They stopped with Hillary Clinton because they didn't want to go after anybody else. When you look at the how they treated Biden, same type of thing. They didn't want to get into it. They found classified documents, classified information from when Joe Biden was a vice president, and even going back to whenever Joe Biden was a senator. Now, here's the thing. When you're a senator, okay, and when you're a vice president, because just shut up. I hate whenever I'm trying to silence my phone so that this way, whenever I get other notification that, it doesn't, it's not distracting to me anymore. Anyway, I got that taken care of. We're all good. Okay, so going back to Joe Biden and his handling of classified information. Let's do the apples and oranges. Let's do the comparison. Trump on this side and Biden over here on this one. Now, Trump, he was the president. Yeah. He had declassification power and authority. He had the ability to do that. Absolutely he did. Okay? Absolutely he did. They investigated him anyway. They said, no, we don't like what you're doing. Not, so no, you're not able to do it. Now, the reasoning by which I think they went in there and did it was because I think when Trump left the White House, he brought the receipts with him. Okay? How they treated him with the FBI investigations, with the with all of it. Okay, with all of it. with all of the investigations that they did on him and pulled on him, I think he kept the receipts. He was able to gather enough information that they didn't want that. And with him running again, they're like, no, we want to get this out of his possession, because whenever, if and when he becomes president, he gets that second term in office, we don't want to be held accountable to the Bravo Sierra that we pulled on him. And that's what I think a lot of that amounted to. He had the receipts. They didn't want him to have the receipts, and they went in there to try to take it. That's what I think it amounted to. Okay? But here's the thing, though. The FBI got caught and acknowledging to tampering with evidence. That's what they did. They put classified information header sheets where they didn't belong. They fabricated evidence. They did that's what they did, period. That's what they did. Do you still trust these people? Because I sure don't. I don't trust the FBI as far as I can throw them. I don't trust any of these people as far as I can throw them. But the FBI admitted to and acknowledged that they tampered with evidence to make Trump look guilty in how he handled classified information. Now, one, he's the president. If he says he declassified it, there is no SOP. You all know what SOP is, standard operating procedure. Whenever you do certain things, there's a standard operating procedure for how you're supposed to do it. Whenever it comes to the president declassifying information, there is no SOP. The directions and instructions was never done. It's just not. It's not been done. There's no congressional oversight on it. It's never been tried in court. It's not been decided upon. In fact, the closest they got to it, to doing anything like this, was with some of the stuff that Bill Clinton had in his sock drawer. He said, this stuff, I'm taking it. This stuff is, presidential records. I can take this if I want to. And they said, yeah, okay, fine. And that's where the Presidential Records Act came out of. Was, Bill Clinton, keeping stuff that he felt he had a right to take. There was no pushback, no nothing. Republicans didn't even scoff about this. It was like, okay, fine, whatever. But all of a sudden, with Trump, it's we're going to go through his wife's sock drawer and underwear drawer. Yeah, like that's not supposed to be suspicious at all. Okay. And now let's draw the contrast to Biden. Well, Biden was a vice president. Second in line does not equal second in command. So much, in fact, that the vice president isn't even paid out of the funds of the president. He is paid as a congressman, because that's what he is. He's the head of the Senate. That's what the vice president is. He didn't have declassification authority as a vice president. So how did he get those records? How was he able to keep those records? As a senator, the only way you can view classified information is in a SCIF, a secure compartmentalized information facility, SCIF. That's what it stands for. Secure compartmentalized information facility. You view things in the SCIF. The fact that he had classified documents dating back to whenever he's a senator flat tells you that he stole those documents and removed them illegally out of a SCIF. Is anything going to happen to him? I don't know. What I do know is that the Republican Party needs to grow some balls if they're going to gain back any amount of respect, if they're going to, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to grow a pair. That's all there is to it. Okay. So you have a clear distinction on how Republicans get treated versus how Democrats get treated. And it's a blatant, in your face, they don't even care. It's It amazes me how you have Democrats out there, people that claim that they're Democrats. I mean, like, I know how, but how can somebody who's a Democrat, who votes for Democrats, how are they okay with this? I mean, is Trump derangement syndrome so bad of a thing that it's like that this type of stuff is accepted? That this type of treatment is okay? Is this truly the Democrat Party of old, or have they just gone off the deep end? Now, I know what it amounts to. I mean, it's an aspect of you just have way too many people that don't pay attention whatsoever. They just don't know. The only place that they get their news from is from CNN, MSNBC, CBS. You know, you name the mainstream media. You name it, and they're not, if that's where they're getting their information from, then they're getting misinformed. I forget what it was that I was listening to, or who it was that said it. And this is a saying that goes back, quite a few different years. But it was, if you are somebody who pays attention to the news, then you are misinformed. If you don't listen to the news, read the newspaper, things of that nature, then you are uninformed. And he's referring to specifically, your major news sources. Not necessarily as much social media, because at least with social media, to an extent, you have the ability to pick and choose whom it is you're going to get your information from. But this more or less stems from mainstream media, your news outlets, your publications, your things of that nature. Then if that's the only place you get your news from, then you have no idea what's going on. You have none. If that's your source of information, then you are, and here's the thing. It's like, dude, okay, there was a time when, yes, you could say that you had an excuse for being misinformed. Absolutely, sure. When you only had, 5 channels back in the day, and you didn't have, pre-internet and pre-YouTube, and you didn't have the ability to do that, then yeah, I can understand being misinformed. But we live in the information age. Or have you forgotten that? We live in an era where if somebody says a line of Bravo Sierra, I mean, you can pull it up on your phone and go, no, this is exactly what you said. No, this is exactly what Kamala Harris said. She's the border czar. She said it. Joe Biden said it. You can't run away from it. This is her own words. And if it's so great, why are they running away from it? Why are they hiding her stance on everything? And we'll get into that. I'm just using this as an example. We live in the information age where you can flat look up right there on your phone, and you can fact check these people in real time. Do we? I mean, I'd hate to say how many times I've heard interviews where, the mainstream media reporters, people whom call themselves journalists. Now, look, I mean, here's the thing. I want to be honest with you. All right. What I'm doing here, the Ho-Ho Show. All right. This is news commentary. Okay. I do my show on news, politics, current events, and issues. That's what I do. All right. This is news commentary. It isn't the news. I'm not a journalist. I do commentary. I see the news. I talk about it. I have a point of view. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm biased, but I'm not biased in the way you may think, because my thing is, okay, I'm not about right and left so much as I am about right and wrong. And in my point of view, especially whenever your standard, Okay, you all know about the gold standard, and this is funny because I had this conversation with somebody a while back ago, and I was talking about the price of gold. And I told him that the price of gold hasn't gone up whatsoever. I mean, if you want to take inflation into that, then, okay, fine. But the cost of gold hasn't moved. And he looked at me kind of weird. He's like, Bravo Sierra, I know it's moved. I've seen it. I go, no, you're not picking up what I'm throwing down. Gold is the standard. Gold doesn't move. Everything else moves in accordance with it. So if gold is going up, it's not because gold is going up, it's because the dollar's going down. Gold's the standard. The USD isn't the standard. Gold is. Gold doesn't move. Okay? So whenever I'm looking at things from a political standpoint, if I'm looking at things from, just any of that standpoint, okay? Issues, law, any of that stuff. I'm looking at it not from a right or left. I'm looking at it from a right and wrong. Not right and left, right and wrong. And my standard, let me pull it out. My standard is this little guy right here. My little pocket Constitution that also has in it the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. That's my standard. This is the gold standard. This does not move. So everything that I see that's going on, all of the political leanings, all of the laws that are written, all of the regulations that are written, this is my standard, and this is 250 years old. That's my standard. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, that is my standard. So everything that I see, I weigh it against that. It's pretty simple. So whenever I see lawfare, I don't care if it's against the left or against the right. I'm looking at the right and wrong. Because in America, can I be frank with you on something? The thing that made America great, okay, the true definition of MAGA, make America great again, the true definition is something that isn't even talked about. I don't hear it talked about. I've brought it up a time or two, but it's not talked about. It's the law. The law is what separates us from third world countries. The law is what separates us from a banana republic. The law is what separates us from Germany, from Great Britain, from Russia. It's the law. Justice is blind. She's holding scales. How does your action weigh against the law? Because the law, Lady Liberty, she's blinded. She has a blindfold on her. She doesn't care what you look like. She doesn't care how much money you make. She doesn't care what religion you are. She doesn't care. Why? Because the law is the law. It's supposed to be equal amongst everybody. There's not supposed to be favoritism in the law. And there was a time in America that's how it was. I mean, you've always had protected class. You've always had that type of stuff. And to be honest with you, that kind of stuff ticks me off a lot too. But we've always had it. In some way, shape, or form, we've always had it. Lady Justice or Lady Liberty, whatever the heck she is, she's been blindfolded, but the law, the execution of the law has always been skewed. You don't believe me? The tax time. Hello. I'm a middle-aged white guy. If we're supposed to have equal application, equal justice under the law, then why don't we? I weigh everything not as right or left, but as right and wrong. And if my standard is the Declaration of Independence, if my standard is the Constitution, if my standard is the Bill of Rights, then everything that I see that comes out of Washington is weighed against that. Everything is. So whenever I see things, it's like, that's not right. The lawfare against President Trump is not right, because if they're going to make an example out of somebody, you don't make an example out of the person that you hate the most. You make an example out of the person you like. It reminds me of the First Amendment. Let me just go ahead and get that one out. Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. What does that say? You have the freedom of speech, not the freedom from speech. You have the freedom of the press. You don't have the freedom from the press. These are the freedoms that you had, 2 of them, just to name a few. Now, here's the thing, okay? If it's speech you like, does it need to be protected? No. The whole point of the First Amendment in relation to the freedom of speech is to protect somebody from being it's to protect speech you don't like. Offensive speech. Here in America, I have the right to offend you. The only safe place, the only safe space is in your own freaking house. Outside in public, it's fair game. You have the freedom of, not the freedom from. Period. It's a fundamental belief that I have based off of my understanding of this. It's not that hard, people. You have the freedom of, you don't have the freedom from. And the only speech that needs to be protected isn't speech that everybody likes. There's no need to protect that. It's speech that offends you. That's the type of speech that needs to be protected. And boy, howdy, does it ever need to be protected. The same thing goes with this whole lawfare. I don't care what you feel about it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It's speech that's protected. In your home, absolutely. You don't want to hear something, you change the channel, you turn it off, there you go. It's pretty simple. That's how you do it. But when you're out in the public square, you have the freedom of, you ain't got the freedom from. You just don't. Sorry. Not really. Get some character. Don't be so offended. Don't be a wuss bag. Just throwing that out there. You know? So I look at what's going on and I see the contrast and I see how people are treated different, and no, this ain't right. And I would have the same point of view if it was a Democrat getting treated like this. I would. Because to me, it's not right and left, it's right and wrong, and that's just wrong. It ain't right. It's wrong. Period. End of story. End of discussion. That's where the heck was that? I don't know. Anyway. You know, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And when I return, we're going to talk about Brian Gatton. Hey, ho, glad you're back. Yes. Good to see you over there, sir. Yeah, and I tell you what, I'm glad to be back. I really am. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Let me pull up a music selection here and see what I got. I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one either. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. All right, guys. Just a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do you love your occasional Mexican dish or your musical fruit? Are you tired of walking by family members and crop dusting them? Well, if this has ever happened to you, might I introduce you to Tampons brand butt plugs. Tampons brand butt plugs is that particular type of butt plug that allows you to walk in public in confidence knowing that you're not going to accidentally crop dust somebody. Tampons brand butt plugs now with the plastic applicator.
Not just for women anymore.
Tampons brand butt plugs. All right, and we are back. Oh yeah, gotta love them tampon brand butt plugs. Absolutely, I do. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm only wanting to do like an hour show today, so I got about 20 minutes worth of the program today. And we just got to talk about, I got two more things that I'm wanting to discuss. I got two more things on the docket, okay? I would have tampon Tim might be selling those. Really? I might have to buy some of those. That'll be great. So I got a couple things that I'm wanting to cover. I'm wanting to talk about Kamala Harris, you know, with her whole presidential thing. And of course, I'm wanting to talk about I ain't got a coin. I'm wanting to talk about the assassination attempt on Trump. Where should I start? Let's start with Kamala Harris. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. All right. This whole thing has been... No, I don't think this is necessarily the first time this type of stuff has happened. And coincidentally enough, if I remember correctly, the last time something like this happened, it happened and the DNC, the thing, you know, the Democrat National Convention was in Chicago. Just like this time, if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, don't quote me on that, but if I'm remembering correctly, that's kind of how the thing played out, okay? But let's recap a little bit with this, okay? So you had the presumptive primary that took place, the Democrat primary, all right? And Biden was running. It was the Biden-Harris ticket. That's how it was. All of the money went to the Biden-Harris ticket, okay? Now, here's where the weird shenanigans to me, and this is weird stuff, guys. I'm just going to tell you, this is weird stuff, okay? He drops out. As in Biden, he drops out for political reasons. He even acknowledges much that he dropped out for political reasons. It wasn't health reasons. It wasn't because he was, you know, messed up in the head. He dropped out for political reasons. He acknowledged it. That's what he said. I'm not saying anything other than what President Biden himself said. He dropped out for political reasons because he knew he wasn't going to beat Trump. Or not he was forced out. Let's just be honest. You know, he was forced out. They told him, you're not doing this. You ain't going to beat him. No way, shape, or form. We have somebody we want to install to be the next president. Okay? That's what happened. How do I know that's what happened? Because of the timing. If they intended to elevate Kamala Harris to the presidency, then they would have waited and basically Article 25 Joe Biden after the DNC. Because here's what it amounts to. all of that money would have went to Kamala Harris. If that's what they intended on doing, they would have waited until after the Democrat National Convention, after he was the nominee, then he would have stood down. And hello, you lost weight looking good. But yes, thank you. I have actually. I lost 35 pounds, something like that, I think. But yeah, I did. Yes, and thank you. Appreciate it. But that's what they would have done. You know, they would have kept Biden in until after the convention. And this way, all of the money that they raised would have went to Kamala Harris. That's the legal way that it's supposed to happen. Considering they did it before the convention, tells me that they didn't intend on putting Kamala Harris as the VP whatsoever. They pushed him out. They, as in the powers that be, you know, the real weight behind the president, because we all know that Joe Biden ain't you know, he's not, he's the marionette, you know, he's the one that the strings are getting pulled on him. Okay. He's not the one that's calling the shots. Somebody else is. We all know it. Let's just be honest about it. We all know. We all know. We know the score. They pushed him out for political reasons. He got ticked. He had no reason, or he wasn't going to step down on his own. They pushed him out. They leveraged information, something against him. We all know this. And right out of the gate, the very first thing that he does is endorse Kamala Harris. Like the very first thing that he does is give that stamp of approval onto her. Now, I think the people that were behind it, i.e. Obama, maybe even Nancy Pelosi or Chuck U. Schumer, I don't think they intended on having Kamala Harris. I think they intended on putting somebody in, because otherwise, why wouldn't they have waited? Because if Kamala got removed from the ticket, then they would have needed to do it early. Get some fundraising going on. If they intended on keeping Kamala in, all of the money that was donated to Joe Biden, Joe Biden Kamala ticket would still stay to her as the nominee after the nomination. Then she could have, she would have had to have stayed on the ticket. That's not necessarily saying that, she would have been automatically, put up there as far as the president. I mean, but she would have had to have stayed on the ticket. It would have been the somebody and Harris ticket or the Harris and somebody else ticket. That's how that works. Okay. So the fact that he stepped down before the convention tells me that they screwed over Joe Biden. Joe Biden screwed them over just as bad. Yeah. That's my take on it. You may disagree with me, and that's fine. But that's my take on it. They screwed themselves. They absolutely did. They screwed themselves. And what was supposed to happen, and I don't know if this did, if I remember correctly, I heard that Trump was going to basically sue the DNC because all of that money that was raised under the Biden-Harris ticket, after they made that change, all of that money was supposed to go back to the donors. Every last bit of it. Every last bit of it had to go back to the donors, and then they can, redonate that money if they so choose. But I don't think that's what took place. But then again, who knows? Because, it's not like Kamala Harris is really doing a whole heck of a lot of campaigning. Heck, she just had her first, her first interview not that long ago, like later, just not that long ago. It's like, finally, she's been the nominee, which is also kind of entertaining to me because, during the 2020. Yeah, during the 2020 process, it's like she got less than 1% of the DNC vote. And then she was elevated to the vice presidency. And then this time, everybody voted in the primary. They voted for Joe Biden. They didn't vote for Harris as president. They voted for Joe Biden as president. And then he steps down, and then the nominee becomes Harris. What I'm saying is you have the Democrat Party who wants to claim a love for democracy, but yet you have Kamala Harris being elevated to the position of becoming the president of the United States of America that nobody voted for her. They got less than 1% during the primary of 2020. Nobody's voted for her. Does any Democrat care that their vote they didn't care? Just got removed by fiat because that's what they decided to do. And again, it was a politically motivated decision. I love the whole aspect, and I got to bring it up just because it's that funny to me. But you have yeah, it cracks me up. It cracks me up. Kamala Harris, nobody voted for her. Democrat Party claimed to have a love for democracy, and nobody voted for her. And it seems as though nobody really cares. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. That's one of the things that just cracks me up. Nobody really cares. But the whole thing being politically motivated, that's the part that I find entertaining. Like, of course, we all know. I mean, have you looked at Trump's numbers? I mean, every single attack, they're just like, wow, this is the outsider. And as Americans, because this is what cracks me up. Steve, you need more light. I do not. Actually, I could use, I don't have that other light in here. I could probably use another bulb. But anyway, yeah, welcome, by the way. Yeah. Where's my train of thought at? I hate it whenever that happens. So, do. Yeah, I don't remember. All right, let's move on to the next subject. We are going into Trump. That's what we're talking about, the Trump assassination. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what, if y'all have been following the Trump assassination. I don't know if y'all is following the different things that the FBI and the Secret Service has found out and the information that has come out from the FBI and from Secret Service. I don't know. I don't know if y'all have been paying any attention to the shooter and the shenanigans that has happened. The sheer magnitude of mistakes that were made leading up to and including the day of the assassination attempt. If you don't want, how do I word this? If you don't want there to be people whom come up with their own ideas revolving around something, but what most people will call a conspiracy theory. If you don't want these type of things to happen, then why are you doing shady shit that the only way to explain it is with basically a conspiracy theory? And the sad thing is, in this case, what is coming out of the mouth of conspiracy theorists makes way more sense than what's coming out of the mouth of the FBI and the Secret Service. I listen to Dan Bongino quite a bit. I listen to him quite a bit, and he, as I really have been paying attention to his show surrounding this because, he's somebody whom is former Secret Service, so he can speak on this with authority, knowing how it should be done, how it is being done. He's got some connections in there to where he can find out what's going on, and I've been listening to a lot of the stuff that he's been talking about because he's not letting this go. This assassination attempt, he's not letting go, just the sheer amount of incompetence and what's been going on. And it's startling in a very sick way, the amount of incompetence that happened around that, that from the Secret Service around that day. It's a holy crap type of a thing. Now, I don't want to go so far as to say that this was an inside job. I don't want to go down that direction. But what I will say is this, okay? This is somebody whom was a 20-year-old individual, 20, 21 years old, something like that, okay? Now, I don't know how many 20, 21-year-olds you have or Yeah, I don't know how many 20, 21-year-olds you know, but how many of them do not have any type of a social media footprint at all? Because this guy, okay, good. This guy doesn't have one. Doesn't have a social media footprint at all. I find that hard to believe. I'm twice the age of this guy. I've got a social media footprint. I may not be on it a lot. I don't live my life on it, but it's there. This guy, nothing. Why is it that he was able to get a drone up to surveil the area 2 hours before the rally and nobody and the Secret Service wasn't able to get a drone up in the air? Brian says, I don't have one. Yeah, but you're not a 20 or 21-year-old. I mean, for somebody that's that young, that's unheard of. I mean, granted, yeah, sure, okay, there's people that are that young, but I'm going to be honest with you, I can't say that I know anybody of that age range that has zero social media footprint at all. I can't say that I know anybody. But where did he got a drone up in the air. The FBI claimed that they were unable to do it. So how was it a 20, 21-year-old was able to outmaneuver the Secret Service? That's kind of weird. There was information that arose about where he learned to shoot, which was apparently a very popular shooting range that is used by federal officials, federal people, law enforcement, things of the like. So that's where he learned how to shoot. He had a rangefinder and was able to maneuver around the facility. How did he get his weapon there? There's some pictures where it looks like he had the stinking thing on him in plain view just before. How? And here's a couple more startling things. There was supposed to be local law enforcement, local LEOs, or at least non-Secret Service people that were supposed to be stationed on the roof that he was on within 130 yards of the president. There was supposed to be a counter sniper team. Okay. Now, one, the local Leos did not have a counter sniper team. They didn't have one. That didn't exist at their level. They had sniper teams, but not counter sniper teams. Why is that important? Well, if you're a sniper, you're looking for the bad guy, okay. But you're kind of looking right here. Okay? A counter sniper team, well, you've got to keep your head more on a swivel. Your job isn't about looking at the target. Your job is looking at everything else. So the local Leos did not have a counter sniper team. That's why they didn't set up on the roof. And yes, it was the local Leos that were tasked with securing the roof. They didn't. They're like, it's hot. We can do our job from the second floor in the comfort of air conditioning where it's not as big of a problem. And according to what the Secret Service knew, there was going to be somebody on the roof. There was supposed to be people stationed on the roof. Not exactly surprising to me that somebody was able to get up there completely undetected, but at the same time, he wasn't completely undetected. There was radio chatter for at least 30 minutes before the president was shot. They lost sight of him. They didn't know where he was at, but they knew that he was off on the 3 o'clock, and yet for some reason, the president was still on the stage. All the shots that happened were all accounted for. There is no shooter on the grassy knoll. But the interesting part is, they cremated him like 2 or 3 days after the shooting. Why were they in such a hurry to cremate him? Why has there been the cover-up of information? Why are the Secret Service and the FBI agreeing that, yeah, uh-oh. Okay, we're good. Okay, cool. We're good. I apparently hit the wrong button and something kind of screwed up on that, but we're good though. So I don't know what I hit, but we're good. Okay, so yeah, a lot of shenanigans going on. A lot of shenanigans. Counter sniper teams, counter intelligence teams, counter surveillance teams, none of which were being utilized for this. They all even acknowledged that, yeah, former President Trump is a high value target, that people are after him, that there is a plot to assassinate from a bunch of Arabian people or whatever. And yet everybody on that day failed. A lot of people failed. They knew this guy was there. He was allowed to walk through and get set up using a rangefinder set up on a roof within 130 yards of the president, and took shots on him. They knew where he was at, roughly. I mean, there's audio of people in the crowd yelling, there's a shooter up on the roof. What the heck? Why was the president? And that was like 2 or 3 minutes, a minute and a half. Let me get my facts straight. A minute and a half before shots rang out. They knew where he was at. People in the audience were yelling about the shooter on the roof, and yet the president was still on the stage. Why? There's not necessarily a lot of conspiracy theories that I prescribe to. But this one, however, way too many people did a horrible job. All these people still have their jobs. There's only been one person that stepped down. And the sad thing is the person that stepped down really wasn't even in charge of the location. The person that was in charge of the location, or at least, the higher up of where this goes, is the person who's the acting director now. He's the one that actually had more say in what was going on above the director that stepped down. Has anybody else lost their job? No. They are still doing the job they was doing on the day they failed, on the day they dropped the ball, and somebody died. Somebody died. Holy crap. A lot of fishy information has been coming out. And it's holy crap, guys. We just seem to be finding out more and more stuff on there. Dave Astor goes, "Are you taking calls? I'm guessing you're not set up for it." No, I'm not. Actually, I got the phone here. It's plugged in. It looks amazing. However, the internet cable that is supposed to run to it, I didn't find that today. So unfortunately, right now, no, I am not able to take calls. However, I will be taking calls next week. I'm going to get that cable and get it done and find it, and it'll be great. It'll be amazing. So no, not right now. I'm not taking calls. I don't have that one stinking cable I need to do it. If I had that cable, I'd be able to take calls because I'm plugged in. I got the phone plugged into the board. That's good to go. But yeah. So anyway, that's all I got for the show today. That is it. There is a couple things that I'm wanting to talk about here, though, real quick. So before January, whenever life happened, I was talking about doing an internet radio station and getting people involved in that, and that is still going to happen. I got some ducks I need to get into a row, and I got a few things that I need to get done and accomplished before I'm able to make that happen. But that is still happening. That is going to be a Weaponized Sloth production thing. There you go. And I tell you what, I'm really excited to do this because it's not going to be just about news commentary shows. There's other things that I'm wanting to do, other content creators that I'm wanting to get on board. And so I just need to touch base with a few of them before this gets going. So as a content creator, if you're wanting to get involved in this, come in on the ground floor. I'd love to have you. I really would be. I had issue Englishing right there for a second. Holy crap. So yeah, I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to get this sucker going. Not just with news commentary, but with entertainment stuff. I'm wanting to expand, maybe something like that. I'm wanting to go into a few different categories of things. So I'm looking to have fun with it. There'll be more information on that later. I'll probably do a blog maybe about it, publish something on somewhere and do that. So, but yes, it's a labor of love. It's not a money-making thing. Okay. I don't have the money to be able to pay people for their content, and I'm not wanting any money for people's content whatsoever. I will be covering the subscription costs. There you go. I'm not asking anything from people, but I'm not offering anything to people at this moment in time either. And it's probably going to, I'm all pent up. Oh, I'm glad you clarified, sir. I was really confused on that. I'm all pent up. Yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so I'm excited to get the ball rolling on this. I really am, because since Spreaker no longer does live, so the podcast will be going out shortly after I, get her done. Actually, whenever I hang up on the recording, I'll be publishing this as a podcast. But so, I mean, there's no audio only way to listen to the show, just the video aspect of it as far as live. So that's what I'm wanting to change. That's what I'm wanting to change. So not just for me, but for other people as well. So that is all I got for y'all today. I tell you what, I'm glad to be back. I really am. It's been a long time. 7 months is a long time going without doing a show. And it's been driving me nuts because there's just been so much stuff going on that I've wanted to talk to y'all about and just, just get it off my chest and whatnot. And so I'm glad to be back. I really am. I'm happy about it. Oh, really? Dave put in there, goes, you need to speak to my friend. She's set up several internet radio stations. She's ooh, fantastic. I'll have to try to do something on that one. That would be awesome to hear from somebody that done it. Yeah, because I tried to set up a radio station at one point in time, and it was a while back ago. Get one going, and it was just for a handful of people. Because at the time there was some growth happening, and awesome. Dave said, by the way, she knows how to make money with it too. Fantastic, because I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. But I tried doing the endeavor once before, and it was at a time frame where Weaponized Sloth was growing, and just there was enough things that just didn't happen, and I'm just like, we'll put this on the back burner, and I'll come back to it at a later date. And with how things has ended up happening with Spreaker, because I like the live thing. I mean, I really do. I like the live thing, and I just think doing an internet radio station would be fun. It'd be fun for me just to, throw a bunch of stuff together. And I mean, not just throw it together. I mean, there's some, I got thoughts, man. I got things that I'm wanting to do, and it's going to be great. I'm ready to implement. I really am. So, all right, guys, Dave, I will get in contact with you later, sir, because there are some things that I'm wanting to talk about. Dave, I'm excited for you and would love to be part of it. Yes, we're on the same page, man. So yeah, I'm excited. All right, guys, that is all I got for you today. I do thank you very much for stopping by. We are going to get this sucker going on a regular basis again. I'm actually considering changing the time from 7 p.m. on Saturday to doing it earlier in the day. I'm considering like maybe a 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock. I don't know. But the later in the day stuff just kind of, in the wintertime, it's not a huge deal. But in the summertime, it sometimes gets a little dang it type of a thing. You make plans, and then it's like things happen, and I don't like that. So I'm thinking about moving it up to an AM show instead of a PM show. So let me know what y'all think on that. So that's all I got for today. Y'all have yourself a great one, and I'll see you next time. This has been The Ho-Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpikle.com. Until next time.